Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging right into the details of a specific real estate listing. We're using the source material, basically the listing itself, as our guide, our mission, just to uncover the key features, maybe some potential insights, exactly like you would if you were checking out this property yourself. Okay, the address we're unpacking is 565 McMurray Drive in Nashville, Tennessee, zip code 37211. And straight from Zillow, the headline facts are listed active $739,900. It's got 3 beds, and the size is 2,311 square feet. Okay, let's unpack this. What does this source tell us beyond those, initial numbers?
Well, what's immediately kind of interesting is getting past just those basics. The source says it's a pretty new build, 2025, and it's listed as a residential horizontal property regime detached.
Horizontal property regime. Okay, break that down a bit.
Yeah, think of it less like a typical condo where you're sharing walls and maybe more like owning your own detached house. But it's within a structured community. They probably share some services, maybe some rules. Often there's an HOA, which, yep, this listing confirms it has one.
Right. So single family feel, but with that community layer on top.
Yeah.
And for a new build, the lot size is just over 9,000 square feet. In Nashville, that seems, well, decent, right?
Mm-hmm. Decent footprint for sure.
So $739,900 for 2,311 square feet. That puts the price per square foot around, what, $320?
$320, exactly.
What does that price point kind of suggest for this area, for this type of new construction?
$320 a square foot for new construction in 37211. I'd say that's competitive. It suggests it's positioned as, a modern move-in ready place, probably targeting buyers who really value that new build feel, maybe lower maintenance over older homes, even if the square footage isn't absolutely massive for that price compared to some other Nashville spots.
Makes sense.
And this source says it's only been on Zillow 16 days. That's very recent. Pulled from the local RealTracs MLS system.
Okay, 16 days. Pretty fresh then. The listing also highlights what's special. They try to grab your attention. They mention things like a cozy gas fireplace,
Yeah.
white oak flooring, soft close cabinets. What do those features tell us about maybe the intended quality level?
Yeah, those specifics, white oak floors, soft close cabinets. They usually signal a slightly higher end finish package, not just the basic builder grade stuff. They really contribute to that modern quality design feel they seem to be going for.
Yeah.
Oh, and a gas range too. That's a big plus for a lot of buyers, especially people who really like to cook.
Definitely. Okay, moving inside, the layout seems key. It says 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, designed for modern living. And importantly, all the bedrooms are upstairs, and each one has its own private ensuite bathroom.
Yes, that all beds upstairs, each with its own ensuite. That's a big takeaway. It's really fantastic for privacy. If you've got a family, older kids maybe, or guests over often, everyone gets their own full bath. But, as a buyer, it's also something to think about if mobility is a concern at all, or if you really prefer having the main bedroom on the ground floor.
Good point. Does the source give room sizes?
It does break down some dimensions, yeah. Like the primary bedroom, bedroom 1, is 14 by 14 feet. Gives you a sense of the space within that upstairs layout.
Okay, 14 by 14. And downstairs, they mention an open concept layout, dining and living rooms combined. Why is that feature so, popular?
Oh, open concept really speaks to that modern way of living, doesn't it? It just creates a feeling of more space, makes entertaining way easier because everyone's sort of connected.
Right, keeps the flow going.
Exactly. And it lets more natural light move through the space. It's really about blurring those lines between the different living areas.
Okay, let's look at the practical stuff, the source details, like construction materials, fiber cement and frame, asphalt roof.
Yeah, fiber cement is a really popular, durable exterior. Good choice. Asphalt roofing is, pretty standard for most houses these days. Utilities are public sewer and water. Also typical, convenient, no septic or well to worry about.
Right.
And they do list some energy-efficient items: thermostat, insulation, water heater. Now, while those are pretty standard for new builds, it's still good they highlight them. Suggests, potential savings on utility bills compared to an older place.
Good to know.
It also has a 2-car attached garage facing the front.
Okay. And finally, the listing gives us a little peek into the community context. The subdivision name is McMurray, 563 homes, and it confirms that HOA we mentioned earlier.
Yep, HOA confirmed.
It even notes security features like built-in carbon monoxide and smoke detectors.
So yeah, you get a pretty comprehensive picture just from the source listing itself, from the big stuff like price and size, right down to the materials and the specific layout features. It definitely gives you a strong starting point to, evaluate the property virtually before you even visit.
Solid snapshot.
Exactly, which actually raises an interesting little question, maybe something for you to think about. The source lists standard under the special conditions section for the property. Now, what does that seemingly simple word standard actually imply? Or maybe more importantly, what doesn't it tell you when you're just looking at the listing details online?
Standard. What's hiding or not hiding behind that word? Something to definitely mull over when you're scrolling through listings. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the source material.